to a brand new episode of Rushdown Radio. I'm Anthony.
And I'm Matt.
Yes. If you've been watching and listening to our videos like the good fans we know you are, you'll know Matt from the other show.
Hello, everyone. It's nice to be here.
Now, Michael couldn't be here because apparently he was screwing around at an Indian burial ground and decided he just wanted to get buried in the ground.
He'll be fine.
He'll be all right.
Yeah.
November 1st, he'll be back.
Right. Like, yeah, remember Pet Cemetery? Like, think of it like that, but like without all the death. He's fine.
Yeah, you would think he wouldn't do something stupid like in that movie, but hey, here we are. All right. But I'm sure you know how this show goes. Surely you also listen to the show.
I do.
Awesome.
I'm an avid listener.
All right. You know what? What movies and video games you been playing lately?
Movies and video games I've been playing lately. So I haven't watched too many movies lately. I've been watching mostly like Netflix shows. I just finished Breaking Bad.
Really?
Breaking Bad is actually quite interesting. It's in the same vein of like those shows that like, men shouldn't be like fans of, or men shouldn't say it's their favorites because the main character is inherently horrible. But it's actually really good. There's really good writing, and it had a pretty solid conclusion too.
Okay.
And as far as video games I recently finished Metroid Dread.
How you like it?
I love that game. Like, probably one of my favorite Metroid games I've played.
There's a lot of debate on what you would place it as far as like a ranking system of the Metroid games.
So I would say it's definitely up there. Because what are the good Metroid games?
Let's see. Metroid Fusion, Super Metroid. I think there's debate about the first Metroid.
First Metroid is trash. Everybody says that.
Okay, I thought there was some debate about that.
No.
Zero Mission. There's also that.
I think Zero Mission is like A tier. I think I know S tier is like Super Metroid, Fusion. I would kind of put it up there.
Okay.
I would say Super Metroid, Dread, Fusion, Dread, Super Metroid.
In that order?
Yeah, for me.
I like that. I dig that. Because, man, Metroid Fusion was a good game.
So good. Like one of my favorite Metroid games ever.
If for some reason you all have never played Metroid Fusion, please do yourself that favor.
Please do. I really appreciate it.
Through unspecified means of dubious activity.
Yeah. Look, we're not saying to go like pirate this game, but
we aren't not saying it.
Yeah, like how else are you gonna play it unless like Nintendo does like a weird expansion pass for Game Boy Advance games or something?
Let's do this fun thing I like to do called Google in the middle of the show, where I'm going to Google how much you would have to pay if you want to buy an actual copy of Metroid Fusion.
I would hope not a lot.
You'd be crazy.
What do you mean?
Wait, hold on. Oh, I think somebody made that cartridge.
Oh,
that's right. That's a thing people do. If they have like a game that's like way too expensive, they'll just make the cartridge and throw a ROM on there. And that makes it a little bit not expensive. But these prices aren't terrible.
How much are people paying? That doesn't sound pretty.
For a sealed copy, no, this is a used copy in the box. I'm sorry,
okay.
$300.
What?
Yeah,
that game wasn't even that much when it came out.
I know. And then we got one here for $154.
Okay, I'm good. I already have a copy of Metroid Fusion on Game Boy Advance, so I'm good.
But I see people on Etsy have been just remaking the cartridge and selling it for. I see the highest from Etsy is like $26 and the lowest is $9.
That's not bad.
Yeah, but the actual authentic copies.
Oh well, yeah. Like of course people are gonna pay more for that because it's authentic.
So yeah, you can pay for the bootlegs, you can pay for the authentic, or you can not pay at all. We're not your parents.
Yeah, do as you please. Do crime reasonably.
Right, just don't tell people you're doing crime. Don't tell us you're doing crime.
Yeah, well, we are not liable for any damages or arrests that may occur in the process.
Don't get arrested and they be like, "Oh, Rushdown Radio told us to do crime." No, we didn't.
Definitely didn't. Yeah, I would say, and lots of Streets of Rage 4 as well. That's the other thing I've been playing.
That is very much your game.
Survival mode is great. I can't stop playing it. Like my highest level is level 41, so I'm like, I need to do better, and that's like my goal.
Okay, all right, I see you. I know some people are like they're in the hundreds, aren't they?
Oh yeah, I've seen like level like 109 or something like that. I'm like, maybe someday, who knows?
Maybe I will purchase this game one day because all I've got is the Game Pass version, and that doesn't come with the DLC and all that stuff.
I mean, I would definitely like get it just because like I would say the DLC made it like quite worth it.
Okay.
What are you watching and playing these days?
Let's see. As far as playing, I am still playing Metroid Dread. I have not gotten through it as quickly as some people have. Not because, I'm just taking my time or whatever pretentious reason people come up with. I'm an adult.
Yes.
And I get tired.
Look.
And sometimes I just want a game to play that's not as thoughtful. Because you got to think a lot in Metroid Prime, especially if you're facing an Emmy. No, I'm
oh yeah. Like, especially once you get to like the later parts. And you don't have like the tools that you think you should have, it's quite a bit.
So, the game I'm playing, don't judge me.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
I didn't pay for this game. It was on Game Pass. Don't judge me.
Okay.
This is important. Don't judge me.
Okay. You keep saying this.
I've been playing Dante's Inferno.
I don't think I have the reference for like Dante's Inferno that most people do, so I can't judge you for it. I remember people saying this game was not that great.
Oh, it's awful. This game is terrible. This game is like, what if we wanted to put God of War mechanics in a whole IP that was about this helpless man's tour through hell, the 9 circles of hell.
Huh.
But what if we just made it God of War?
That doesn't sound like a bad game though.
You know what? It's fun if you don't take it seriously. If you go into this expecting a campy game, you'll have enjoyment.
Okay.
Like the first thing you do is steal the scythe of the Grim Reaper. That's amazing.
I not gonna lie, you're kind of making me want to play this game.
It's on Game Pass.
Really?
Yes, that's the only reason I'm playing this. It's on Game Pass.
See, I need to turn on my Xbox. I haven't done it in a while.
Yes, you should. There's so much good on there.
I gotta go through Game Pass. I haven't been on it in a while. I've been mostly playing stuff on my PS4. So
I am also playing Dead Space, the first one, because I have to.
Because that's also on Game Pass, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And I make it a point to play a spooky game every October. And Dead Space was the game because I love Dead Space. And as much as I lament this Dead Space remake, I am going to play it because I love Dead Space. So, I wanted a point of reference. That game is still terrifying.
Huh.
I've played that game and beaten it 3 times over, and that game is still terrifying.
Interesting. I've been wanting to play Dead Space 2, and I have it because I have Game Pass, so like I have access to it.
Dead Space 2 is a game it took me a long time to get through. And I think it's because I have a real big thing about when you have like horror settings or like psychological settings and you throw in children of any sort. That really bothers me. Like there's a whole part where you go through this abandoned daycare and then the necromorphs, they're like little babies that explode if they get too close to you. And so you're shooting this horde of like exploding babies and they sound like babies. Like there's a portion where a woman is holding one and she just goes boom. And I'm like, no, please no. I don't want this.
Oh, that's messed up.
It's very messed up.
But it sounds fun as shit. So
it's very fun. This is Dead Space 2, by the way. Dead Space 1 is it doesn't have that, but what it does have, it has atmosphere, it has good graphics that still hold up today.
Well, yeah, because it's the first of the franchise, so like they kind of had to build everything around it and kind of make it one of those things that interesting to play. So
I still think of the 3, Dead Space 1 is probably the best if you're looking for a pure horror experience.
Okay.
Dead Space 2 is a little bit more actiony.
Okay.
But it still has plenty of horror in it. Dead Space 3 is trash, and I wish it didn't exist.
Huh.
Yeah, that's how I kind of feel about that.
That's fair. I would say it almost sounds like the reverse of the Mass Effect series, where like Mass Effect 3 is really terrible. two is the GOAT and one is just like.
I would never tell anyone on this planet to play Mass Effect 1 unless you are playing it on the Legendary Collection.
Huh.
If you're playing the original Mass Effect 1, I'm sorry. Stop doing that.
That's fair.
Do better for yourself, for those around you, for your family. Play the Legendary Edition, and you will be playing a much better game.
Cool.
Now, as far as what I'm watching, I've been watching, strangely enough, a lot of DC movies. I've been watching a lot of animated DC movies. I'm not sure why.
I mean, they are the cream of the crop of like the DC universe right now.
Indeed, they are. And what was the one I just finished? Apocalypse War, I think, is the one I just finished, where like Batman gets like snatched up and turned evil and stuff like that. And
is that what I don't think I watched that one. I need to. I'll probably have to go back and watch it.
It's one of the Justice League Dark ones.
Oh,
Apocalypse War. I think that movie is fantastic. That's probably gonna be up there as one of my favorite DC movies because first of all, evil Batman.
I mean,
chef's kiss. Evil Batman talking down to Lex Luthor.
Man,
beautiful.
Evil Batman be like,
my parents are alive.
Oh man, I love those movies, but Evil Batman, that's like the Justice League's worst nightmare.
Evil Batman be like, stop talking. We can do that all day. But this is a pretty cool Batman. I liked it.
Okay. Like, wait, who are the heroes kind of trying to stop Batman?
Let's see. We got Constantine.
Okay.
We got Superman with no powers.
What? Okay, hold up. That's wacky. Evil Batman and no power, a regular Superman.
So this is like in a reality where Darkseid wins.
Oh,
and one of the things he decided to do was infuse kryptonite into Superman's blood.
Oh, is this? I think this is the one where like Superman is like half infected. I think.
Yep, he has like green eyes and stuff going
on. Yeah, okay. I saw this one. This was a really good one because Batman was like a slave of like Darkseid or something like that, right? Yeah. Okay. Now I remember. Yeah, that was a really, really good one. Oh yeah, because they had to like go back in time or something like that.
Yeah, they had to save Flash because oh god. He was being used as a power source by running in a hamster wheel.
Oh,
Apocalypse was a monster, man.
Darkseid.
Darkseid, my god.
You know what? I need to rewatch it because I remember it being really good. I was like, wait, this sounds
really good,
man.
But we're not here to talk about all that.
Yeah.
We're here to talk about the spooky stuff. Because of course, this is spooky month. And what's a spooky month without spooky talk? With a spooky podcast.
I'm down for the spooky stuff.
This is why Michael's really not here. He's not big in spooky stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really his forte, but that's cool. That's why we're here.
That is why we're here.
Because I enjoy the spookiness every now and then.
I do as well. Horror things are my jam, and here we are.
Okay.
So let's jump in with something real easy. Something that I want to hear Matt's opinion on because as the resident Fortnite player,
okay,
he can give me some real insight on why the hell Chris and Jill from the famed Resident Evil series is in this goddamn game.
Okay, so I would say mostly it's gonna be with any of these licensing things, or with licensed characters being in Fortnite. I think people kind of just don't realize that it's the company they're owned by fault that they're in the game. It's like, hey, I remember somebody saying like, how Fortnite ruined these characters for me. I was like, you mean the company that owns these characters ruined them for you? They wouldn't be in Fortnite unless they had the company's explicit permission. And so I'm just looking at it like, if you're mad about Jill and Chris being in Fortnite, blame Capcom. They want the money.
Capcom does want that money because they've been doling out a whole bunch of characters.
And so like, yeah, because it all started with Ryu and Chun-Li being in Fortnite, and everybody was like, "Oh my god, it's ruined! You ruined Street Fighter Fortnite." First of all, Capcom ruined Street Fighter, so let's get that straight.
Second of all, how?
My whole thing is just like, you don't play this game and you don't like this game, so don't pay attention to it. I don't think these characters being in Fortnite means it's a bad thing. It's a cash grab from Epic, because there are people who are like, hey, Chris and Jill from Resident Evil, I know these characters. I also like Fortnite. I think I would like to play these characters in Fortnite. I think the weird thing is, and somebody made a good point of this on Twitter, is that like, it's weird when characters who don't normally use a gun are in Fortnite.
You mean like Superman?
Yeah, like Superman, Venom, most Marvel characters and stuff. Like Doctor Doom has a shotgun. Why?
That's a great question. I would love to play Doctor Doom as a man with a shotgun, because I mean, why not?
I played that battle pass of Fortnite. It was actually not terrible. It was a pretty fun thing that they did. Because they also had like this mode where you could use like the powers from like certain characters too. That was fun. Like Doctor Doom had like all these like blasts and everything like that. You could do like the super jump. It was amazing. But that was quite a while ago.
I really wish I liked Fortnite enough to have enjoyed that, but unfortunately, it's not my jam.
And I'd say, okay. I look at Fortnite like this. It's interesting that Jill and Chris are in Fortnite. Jill looks a lot better than Chris. For some reason, Chris animates weird. And it's specifically his Resident Evil Village like attire that looks weird.
He looks like a homeless slasher?
Yes. That is like an extra like part of that skin, and it looks weird. His face looks terrible.
All right.
And then but they got boulder punching Chris, so like that's great.
Well, we're gonna play that game again where I Google things in the middle of the show so I can see what the hell is going on.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's like not fun. For Jill, they used Resident Evil 1 Jill, and they also used Resident Evil 3 Remake Jill.
I can get with that. I'm all right with that.
Yeah, like they both look great, and it's like.
What is this? Yo!
I told you
He looks like a predator.
Not a predator.
What is this? Why does he look like I don't like that.
Yeah.
Jill looks good though. Oh, Jill looks amazing.
Yeah, Jill looks great.
But
Jill looks fantastic. Chris looks.
What y'all do to my boy?
Chris looks like hot garbage. He looks like the Boulder won that fight.
Chris looks like he needs 62 cents to get on the bus.
Not 62 cents to get on the bus.
Chris needs something. He needs a shave.
Oh man, like I looked and I was like, what? Why is this a thing? Why are we doing this Fortnite?
Okay. All right, Chris.
So,
you got it.
So, and yeah, like I said, it's not necessarily a bad thing that these characters are in Fortnite. It's a cash grab. Epic wants your money, and they're gonna get your money because they're gonna keep putting characters that people like in these games, or in this game where it's it's just like, yeah, you want to play a Sarah Connor from the Terminator, you can do that.
Mega Man and Roll are gonna come to Fortnite eventually.
That actually would be a terrible idea, to be honest.
I don't see why it wouldn't happen. It's going to be funny to see Mega Man with a gun.
Oh, well, yeah.
Like, that's going to be the best thing.
Like, Ryu with a gun is weird, but also, like, Ryu's also in Smash Brothers. So,
right.
like,
he's held worse things, like a baseball bat.
This is true.
I would be terrified if Ryu with a baseball bat came at me. I think I'm more scared of Ryu with a bat than Ryu with a gun.
That's fair.
Yeah. And you know what? We're going to leave it there and move on to something a little spookier.
Okay.
Halloween Kills, right?
Okay. What's going on with Halloween Kills? Because there's been a little bit of controversy surrounding this movie.
So there's a lot going on with Halloween Kills. The fact that it's not a great movie, but
I've heard that. Like, people said
not a single good thing about this movie.
People said that and it sucked. And I'm like, I still need to go and watch it.
I'd argue Halloween hasn't been good for a while, but that's just me.
I would say the like first initial reboot they did of it was really good, and then everything like kind of after it just didn't make sense.
I kind of feel like they should just let Michael Myers rest, like they did to Jason Voorhees.
They're gonna make a new Friday the 13th movie. I don't know what you're talking about, but that's coming. Like I feel like those kind of movies are coming back. Or they could do something interesting like they're doing with Chucky right now, and make it into a series.
I could live. You know what? I would definitely sit down and watch a Jason whole like series. I would watch that.
Yeah, that'd be a good thing to watch. I think like the funny thing about Chucky, like sidebar really quick, is like, did you see that like meme that was going around of like Chucky like supporting his gender fluid child?
Yes.
I thought that, I was like, you know what? We love to see it. Look at that character growth.
He may be evil, but he's not a monster.
Exactly. He's cool with murder. We're not down with transphobia, and we love to see it.
Speaking of LGBT hate, Michael Myers is actually being accused of some homophobia.
What?
For
huh? Wait, huh? Who?
Yeah.
Michael. I hate Jamie Lee Curtis Myers is a homophobic.
Yeah. Because he killed a gay couple. That's about it.
Huh. That would also make Pennywise the Clown homophobic because he also killed a gay couple in It Chapter 2. I don't think that's necessarily the case.
You know what?
Michael Myers kills people. Also, wouldn't that make him a racist and a misogynist?
Yes.
Because he kills women and he kills black people?
Oh, he also killed firefighters and people took issue with that or something?
Red Lives Matter.
Yo, I almost dropped this microphone.
But Red Lives Matter, Anthony.
Stop that. Ooh, pause. No.
Do you not care about our first responders? What about our firefighters who risk their lives every day to stop fires?
Look, if it weren't for firefighters, I'd still have my original Super Nintendo and PS1 today. So how about that?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Dark past unlocked.
Yeah. Yeah, how about that?
We'll get to that another time.
That's fine. But I mean, people are mad at Michael Myers for killing.
That at that point, it's just like, why are you watching these movies? Like, everything can't be like this super woke. Like, everybody's like, you know, this, everybody's that because people dying. Like, Michael Myers kills people. He don't care whether you're black, white, gay, purple. You're gonna die because you're in his way. And I think if people just got out of his way, they wouldn't die.
You know what's also really weird?
What?
I kind of feel like this isn't all the public's fault. I think this is also the media's fault. Because as you said about Pennywise, right?
Yeah.
I played the game Google in the middle of the show again.
Yes.
And I looked up Pennywise homophobic. You want to hear two headlines?
Oh, Lord.
It Chapter 2's gay bashing scene exploits a real life killing for cheap scares. That's the first one.
Uh-huh.
The second one is It Chapter 2, why its depiction of homophobic violence is actually a positive. Bro, what? And of course I get, well, I mean, it's two different publications, so it's two different views.
But also both of those are very crunchy.
Yeah, right. Both of these are two extremes of one view, right?
Uh-huh.
So I think this may be the case for Mr. Myers here. We all know that Myers is a equal opportunity murderer.
Yes.
If you have flesh, he will cleave it.
This is true. I've seen plenty of Halloween movie where he just killed people.
I mean, as long as your name isn't Jamie Lee Curtis, you are probably going to get cut by Mr. Myers here.
Yeah, it's so odd that I think at this point it's like, Jamie Lee Curtis, can we stop making these movies? You've been in enough Halloween movies, and this man ain't killed you yet.
Like, we get it. You're a badass. All right, we've been saying you're a badass for years. We get it. You're bored. Chill.
Not bored.
Do something else. Literally anything else.
Look, I think Halloween, especially like this kind of iteration of Halloween, has been running on a little too long. I still need to watch the movie myself in order to gauge like the full kind of
Bro, she is 62.
62?
She's 62.
She looks good for 62.
I agree.
But also, yeah, these movies have gone on for way too long. I think it's time to kind of hang this up so we can get to other stuff. Like what is the point? Like Michael Myers just like kills Jamie Lee Curtis, who I think is supposed to be like his sister or something.
I'm almost certain that she's like his sister.
And
they rebooted it and made her something else.
I don't know anymore. And
Michael Myers is old. Like, dude, you moving pretty good for an old dude.
That he is running on pure like spite or hate or like just the urge to kill, and that motivates people. So we gotta applaud him for that. He's persistent.
You know what? As a person who is also powered by hatred and the urge to like maybe not kill, but an urge to get you away from me, I understand. Okay, I'm a hateful guy sometimes.
So you resonate with that?
I do.
Okay.
He's an icon in my book, and he's not homophobic. All right.
We don't know that. He killed gay people.
He's killed plenty of straight people. Is he straightophobic?
Look.
Is he heterophobic for killing straights?
I'll allow heterophobia, okay?
Whoa, buddy.
Name one good thing straight people have done besides create me.
So we're going to move on to the Resident Evil trailer.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
How do you feel about it?
So if you had told me that this was like some kind of budget straight to streaming film, I'd be like, you know what? Okay.
That's fair.
But some of that CGI?
Yeah. That one monster especially, they showed at like the end of it with all like the bulging. And I was like, that don't look great. Also, racists are not happy with this movie. For all of you who don't know and everything, they kind of like took some liberties with ethnicities of two major characters in the Resident Evil franchise.
They colored with a slightly off-white crayon on some of these colors.
Jill Valentine and I believe Leon Scott Kennedy are not white in this movie. And people are not happy with that. I forget the actors' names who are playing these characters, but yeah, people aren't happy with like these the weirdness that they. I wouldn't say weirdness and everything. I don't care. I don't think for Jill Valentine or Leon Scott Kennedy that their race is important to their character.
Here we go. I got some names.
Okay.
So we got Avon Jogia. Well, that's a. And you said Jill too, right?
Yeah.
Hannah John Kamen?
Oh, okay. I believe Hannah was in she was the main villain in the Ant-Man sequel. So like she's been in a couple things here and there, but it's also just funny. I'm like, Jill has blue eyes. Like anybody with blue eyes could play Jill. It's not that terrible.
It's really not.
I kind of like it. I don't think it really matters for like Leon as well. Anybody could be named Leon. Like how many white men you know named Leon? I don't know that many. I don't think it really matters.
It really don't. Like
and it's also just like why look, there are more important things like the ethnicities of these characters. Like this bad CGI that you mentioned before. Like that's kind of more important to me.
Here's the thing, right? Resident Evil is a series that I find it weird to take seriously. Yes, it is a horror icon, and yes, it has horror elements in it. But let's not forget how goddamn B-movie campy it is.
This is true.
Let us not forget the famous Jill sandwich meme. Well, not meme, but you know the clip of Jill sandwich.
I don't think I have the reference for that either.
Yes. There was a scene in Resident Evil 1 when they had the FMVs of real people acting these things out.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if I can find the exact quote of the Jill sandwich.
From the first game, right? Where they like from like the little movies and everything they had in the game.
Well, this particular part was pixelated, but it was from a bad English translation. And it was after she was saved from a like a falling ceiling. Not a falling. It's like a trap where the ceiling was about to come down and crush her.
Okay. And
she was saved by Barry Burton, and he goes, "You were almost a Jill sandwich."
Okay. I think I would have.
You'd have to watch it.
Yeah,
you'd have to watch it.
I should probably watch it. I could watch it like after we get done with the show.
Right. Yeah. Trust me. It's as stupid as it sounds, though. My personal favorite Resident Evil moment was in Resident Evil Revelations, where Jill gets transported to a room and her teammate is looking for her. And he's like, "Jill, where are you?" And she goes, "I don't know. A room, I think."
What's my favorite Resident Evil moment? Well, I'm gonna reference 4 because
I'm sure it's from 4. I'm not even surprised it's from 4.
Look, that's my favorite Resident Evil game.
Hey, I won't take it from you. It's a great game.
It's probably one of the. I think it's probably the only. No, I've played 5 and beaten 5, so.
You talk about campy. That's campy.
Oh God, that game is so camp. Resident Evil 4 is a little camp, but not as much as 5.
Resident Evil 4 is campy in a way that it's like really fun. It's a fun game.
I think one of my favorite moments from Resident Evil 4 is towards the end of the game where like Leon like saves the day and he has like that little moment with Ashley on a jet ski, and she's like. No, it was the meme specifically that stemmed from that, where I won't reference the meme and everything because like, slurs and all that, and so we can't say it, but that was probably like, and it's terrible to kind of reference that, but at the same time it was very funny because that's exactly what happened in that moment. And
yes, where Ashley tried to give Leon her thank you.
Yes,
and he said no thanks.
I gotta save the world, stupid. That's might as well what Leon said, because it was literally that, and I was like, this game was worth it. It was perfect.
Leon is one of the best protagonists of Resident Evil because that game with him is great. He is such like a cocky piece of trash sometimes.
Look, Raccoon City changed him.
Like he's like such a hot shot. And you know what? I guess when you're facing chainsaw people, stupid creatures with biothermal weak points that you have to use stupid scopes to see. Oh, God. Sorry, that was a thing.
I know.
Caterpillar people.
Oh.
When you got to deal with stuff like that, you can't face it with hesitation and fear.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just funny that the men of stars are always like women. The mission.
This is true, because I think it kind of goes back to the beginning of Resident Evil, where like people saw Chris and Jill's like they need to be together, and it's like zombies.
How do you find a ship in a zombie game? Like they're trying to escape a zombie nightmare, and you guys are just like, I think it'd be really cool if they got cozy together.
It's trauma bonding. That's a whole thing. So yeah. As far as the Resident Evil, that new movie that's coming out next month, I might be willing to go see it. Like it might be a good time. Who knows?
I am willing to go see it too. I do think it will be fine.
Okay.
Like, I don't think it's gonna be groundbreaking. I don't think it's gonna be, oh my God, they finally did a great Resident Evil movie, or people comparing it to other video game movies and thinking it's great or bad or whatever. I don't think it's going to be on this level of things like the Sonic movie.
That is fair. And the Sonic movie was great because it was still kind of its own thing, but still very Sonic with like references. And I think that's how video game movies should be done.
Right. If we try to do a one-to-one to the video game, it's just not going to work. It'll never work.
Yeah, that's a little hard to do, and we'll talk a little bit more about Resident Evil later, in our retrospective later in the show. I think it's time to kind of move on to another thing.
All right,
that we got coming up next.
Let's see, what do we got here? Yes, now we're just talking about spooky games we think you should play. So of course, seeing that this is the spooky month, we all hope that you all are enjoying it and playing spooky games. So we've picked out two in particular that myself and Matt have both played very thoroughly and enjoyed very thoroughly.
Yes.
And that's Blasphemous.
Oof.
Now, anybody who regularly listens to Rushdown Radio knows I'm always looking for a good indie title for you all to play.
This is true.
This is the one that I think is perfect for right now because Blasphemous is a great time. It's a difficult time, but it's a great time.
It's for those who don't know, Blasphemous is a Metroidvania game. If you don't want to know what a Metroidvania game is, just pretty much think about Metroid and Castlevania and think about like those games, and there you go. It is a Metroidvania where you pretty much do a lot of exploration. You get items to kind of go and backtrack into other areas to grab like, collect stuff and basically kind of beat God at the end of the game. Kind of literally and figuratively at this point.
Yeah.
Especially in Blasphemous. You
attack and dethrone God.
Yeah, it is. I would say the overall story of Blasphemous has to do with like Spanish Christianity. It's very much inspired by Spanish Christianity. And basically, so one day, for those of you who don't know the story of Blasphemous, one day a man was like, God, I need to be punished. And so the higher ups was like, I bet. And they turned him into a tree. This tree like secretes a kind of like golden burning like juice every year on the day he like wished for that. And so they decided like, hey, if he wants to be punished, why don't we punish everybody? And so the great miracle was born. And they call it the miracle because lots of great and terrible things happen to the people of Custodia. I think that's the name of like the land that Blasphemous takes place. And boy, are those people suffering, because while he asked for suffering, not everybody else did, and they suffered in a lot of ways.
Let's see. One dude got turned into a tree. One dude is cursed to just take an entire pilgrimage with like his arms bounded and a stone tied to his beard.
Oh yeah. Rodento.
Yes.
Poor Rodento. There's also that one woman who like is consistently being like whipped because like she's suffering for like the sins of others. It's a very messed up game.
What about the woman who assists you through some of the boss fights and by the last time she's like dead?
Oh, Viridiana.
Yes.
Well, the thing is, I don't use Viridiana that much, so because I try to avoid that. I'm like, I don't want Viridiana to die, so I'm
sorry, I didn't think she was gonna die, but
I mean that's fair. But essentially, you play the silent hero, the penitent one, who is like, and boy is that man silent because he don't say nothing.
Nothing.
You just take hits and you're like killing enemies, and they're like, "Sorrowful be the heart." Probably one of my favorite quotes in video games today. And boy, does the penitent one go through a lot, especially when you get like the free DLC that Blasphemous has. Also has another free update coming up in November or December, I believe. Later, I know it's late on this year.
So it's a great time to get into the game.
Yeah, because I think it consistently goes on sale. So if you haven't played Blasphemous, go play that now. Very, very good game. Very nice movement options.
Very beautiful game.
Oh yeah, like as far as pixel art goes, like probably one of my favorite like pixelated Metroidvania games.
And you would think that with pixels you couldn't show gore.
Yeah.
Oh, this game.
Yeah,
this game's got you covered if you like gore.
It's very gory, very disturbing at times too.
Yeah, sometimes you just kind of go like, I don't like that. Why did they do that?
Especially with like some of the things they've added in the DLC. And the DLC is really good too, especially for free DLC. Really, really nice. The Stir of Dawn is probably one of my favorite additions to it. The Penitent system, I'm not happy about it. for those of you who don't know, the penitent system is something they add after you've beaten the main game once. And the penitent one has like these kind of penitents that he has to go through to complete the game, and he gets like a very special item, or very special prayer bead, which is kind of like your buffs throughout the game. He gets a prayer bead relating to that penitent. There is one that nerfs your fervor meter. It nerfs your strength. It nerfs your strengths and everything, so you do half damage. But you get I think you do half damage, but you get more kind of like magic. That took me forever to finish. I'm
sure
that was not a fun time.
I'm sure that was rough.
You wouldn't believe how long it took me to like complete that on that penitent. I was not having a great time.
I'm so sorry.
There's another one that kind of, I would say it's probably one of the best ones. It's the Penitent of the Heart, where instead of getting a health bar, you get orbs. So you get these like life orbs and everything, and every time you take a damage, it takes one orb away. But you can only no matter what you do, it only takes no matter what attack you get hit with. So attack that would probably normally kill you would only take that one orb, and that was really good.
That sounds pretty good.
Oh yeah, especially once you increased your health orbs, that was probably one of the best parts of the game to me, because I could still attack and everything and not have to take 10 years to kill an enemy. That was one of the best ones. I'm on the last penitent right now, which is the Penitent of Guilt. That one is a little difficult as well.
What's this one do?
So this one kind of nursed the Tears of Atonement that you take, which is kind of like your money in the game. So every time you die, all the Tears of Atonement that you have are locked to the kind of like marker that you have from when you last died.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you don't collect it, you lose all those. And so have to kind of start over from like square one. There's something else involved with it too. I haven't played the game in a while, so like I need to get back to it, especially before this DLC comes out. It's a lot, and it kind of makes things a little difficult too, but still really fun. Love Blasphemous. I still say go play this game. Like I could talk about it all day. So much stuff happens in this game, and it's very dark. And the final boss is like the bosses in this game is really, really good too.
Very good.
And let's see. And I think we're talking about the Castlevania collection, right?
Yes, we're also talking about Castlevania. Because, I mean, of all the games out of here that are like spooky, Castlevania ain't the spookiest, but man, does it try. It's got all the nice monsters. It's got mummies. It's got zombies. It's got vampires. It's got werewolves. It's got all the nice horror staples.
Yeah, it even has like, things that you wouldn't think would be like, let's see, what's a weird kind of like enemy in like Castlevania?
Medusa head.
Okay, I've had my fair share of run-ins with Medusa heads.
Merman. Random doll.
Oh yeah, hellhounds. Hellhounds.
Birds. A dude on like half a horse, but he's attached to the half a horse.
Which game is that? Because I forget.
That is Aria of Sorrow. Yeah, he's like attached to half a horse, and the horse is just riding. A giant chicken that can turn you to stone.
Oh yeah, the cockatrice.
Yes,
I hate those things.
A floating eyeball. Did I mention birds?
Yes,
birds.
You said birds.
A lion's head on a wheel that's on fire.
Oh yeah, those stupid things.
A slasher, just a random dude who throws knives.
It's like, yeah, I've been employed by Dracula to like annoy you at every turn.
Yeah, and then you can just duck the knife and just throw your own knives or something.
There you go.
A minotaur, living armor, battle maids,
living swords,
I hate those.
I hate those too.
I hate them so much.
But in terms of these enemies are kind of spread all throughout Castlevania. But I would say, like, what Castlevanias have you been playing recently?
I have actually been playing the Castlevania collection that came out recently, because 4 games for $20. Of course, I'm playing that. And they're all good. They're all from the Game Boy Advance era, and they're all good. They're all great. I love each and every one of them.
Okay. What games are specifically in the collection for those who don't know?
Let's see. We have Aria of Sorrow. Mm-hmm. We have... it's basically Rondo of Blood. What are the other two? Well, time to play that game.
I believe Circle of the Moon is one of them as well. And
yes.
That was the one I played. I really liked Circle of the Moon. It was probably one of my favorite Castlevanias I played.
I haven't jumped into that one yet very far. Mm-hmm. I have only played like maybe an hour of it because I really just wanted to play Aria of Sorrow again. I love that game.
Oh yeah, that's the one with Selma Cruz as the protagonist, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And everybody's like, but actually my name is, and it's like, come on, guys.
That's fair.
Dracula X, which is basically Rondo of Blood.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that was on Game Boy Advance. That's weird.
It was, yes.
Huh.
But yeah, Aria of Sorrow, Rondo of Blood, Circle of the Moon, and there's one more. The one with like, I think his name is like Juxus or something. That's the other one I've only played. Maybe like an hour of.
Wasn't it Harmony of Dissonance or something like that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it was. As you can see, I basically bought this for Aria of Sorrow because I've only played like an hour of these other games.
That's fair. I wonder if the old like cheat codes still work for it.
That's a great question. I haven't tried.
Because I was thinking about getting it, but I would probably get it to specifically play Circle of the Moon. I forget who was the protagonist of that game, but it seems pretty interesting.
Circle of the Moon. Let's find out which Belmont that was. Because I think the only non-Belmont protagonist we have here is Selma Cruz.
But isn't Selma Cruz like a descendant of the Belmonts or something like that?
Selma Cruz is a reincarnation of Dracula.
Oh.
So he's closer to Alucard than the Belmonts.
That's fair.
But yeah, no one's supposed to know that. That's a surprise tool they use for later.
Okay.
Let's see.
I would say, how do you feel about like Castlevania?
There we go. Nathan Belmont. Nathan. I'm sorry, Nathan Graves. He's Nathan Graves. He's not a Belmont.
Is he a descendant of the Belmonts, or at least related to them?
I mean, he has a whip.
That's not what I asked.
He's Belmont-esque. He's Belmont adjacent. He has a whip.
Okay, you know what? Fine. I need to play it again. So one of these days, if I have like the extra skrill, I will go purchase it because I do want to play Aria of Sorrow. Because there was a sequel, Dawn of Sorrow, on the DS, right?
Which is also amazing.
I think I had Dawn of Sorrow, or I had Portrait. No, I had quite a few like Castlevania DS games. Like Order of Ecclesia.
Great game. Love that game.
Very good. Yeah. I would like to play that game again if you could, like, you know, when you're done borrowing it.
Sir, this is a podcast. we can discuss that on non-podcast time.
Wow.
I can't believe that we are talking about this here on this podcast.
It's a Castlevania game, and it's related to what we're talking about.
Sir.
Okay. I will bring that up later.
Okay.
But also play the Castlevania DS games. Those are really wonderful.
I wish that had a collection because man, I'd play all those games.
I think that's coming up soon. They should do like a Castlevania 3D collection too.
Now we're getting a little crazy.
Okay, hold up. To be fair, I've been watching Matt McMuscles play Castlevania 64, and I kind of want to play it again.
All right, you getting a little spicy there. You talking about 3D Castlevania?
Okay, look, it wasn't the greatest, but also I had a lot of fun with Castlevania 64. I actually own that game, so it was one of those things where like playing it was like, oh, maybe I need to play this game again because it didn't look bad. It was bad, but it wasn't that bad. You know what I mean?
I hear you. I think of some of the games that are out there. You ever play Castlevania Curse of Darkness?
Curse of Darkness. I have not.
People who have played Castlevania Curse of Darkness probably don't like the animated series because the protagonist was Hector.
Oh, that's the PS2 game.
Yes.
Oh, right.
And Hector, to say that he was drastically different is an understatement.
I remember
as
that.
was Isaac.
Oh no, I know about Isaac in Curse of Darkness.
Although I would say animated series Isaac was much better than Curse of Darkness Isaac, while Curse of Darkness Hector leagues better than animated show Hector.
Yeah,
and I speak from a place of bias because I absolutely despise Hector, and every time he was harmed, I was happy.
Actually, that kind of leads into like the next thing we were supposed to talk about anyway.
Yes, the show.
I loved the Castlevania series on Netflix.
And I know there are people who are like, "This is terrible. It's a mockery of the Castlevania series." Shut up.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how I feel about it.
That animated series was fantastic. All of it. Every single bit of it. Now, I know there are people who feel strongly about it, and they're like, well, in the lore, okay? That's how I feel about what you have to say.
I could go through like the entirety of like Castlevania because I've rewatched it like several times from start to finish because it's really that good. Like I liked how they kind of did it too, where they like tease us a little bit with like the first season with those 4 episodes.
Yes.
And I think that was like probably the only like blight I have to say about it. There are other little like irritating things too, but that was probably one of the most irritating. Like start off with 4 episodes in the first season, where like this woman Lisa from Lupu like goes a knocking at Dracula's castle, is like, yo, Drac, make me a doctor. And Drac's like, what the hell is this? Who are you? Why are you in my house? You don't pay bills here, so you can leave. And she's like, look, I'm trying to be a learned, okay? I want to learn things, and I want to help people. And Dracula's like, I don't do that. I bite people, and I will bite you. And she's like, look, you need to learn some manners. Also, like, I could teach you to be nice again. And Dracula's like, you're interesting. You're not afraid of me. Let's see.
I think I might like you.
Right? And then, like, fast forward 20 years later, Lisa is getting fried up like, like a 20-piece at Harold's hard. And Dracula, like, comes back and is like, yo, where my wife at? What happened? Yeah, old woman's like, look, they took her to the stake because they think she's a witch. And Dracula's like, what? Hold on. This can't be happening. Let me go see about this real quick. The bishop was like, look, your wife was a witch and you ain't real because you're the devil, but you're not real. And Dracula's like, okay, y'all got 1 year to move up out of this piece. And if you don't, that's your ass. And so, like, humans, they don't listen because especially
they even threw a party.
Right? They're like, man, remember we killed old girl a year ago? Look, fried her real nice, didn't she? Yeah, she did.
She was pretty crispy.
And then Dracula came out of the sky. I was like,
she was crispy, huh?
Like, oh, y'all celebrating? Like, remember I told y'all how y'all needed to leave a year ago? It's too late now. Get them, boys.
Basically.
And so the night creatures pretty much kind of ruined that one little city, or I think it was Targovist. I think that's like one of my favorite things about the series is the names and everything, like Wallachia, Targovist,
it's Grigit. All so European.
And it's still wonderful. Like, it just rolls off the tongue sometimes. Like, Grigit.
It does.
Love that. Like, who doesn't like stuff like that? So yeah, Dracula's like, y'all killed my wife, so I hate all humans. And you're gonna die.
Yep. And who did they die?
Oh, lots of blood, guts, and gore in Castlevania, but it's so good. I love it.
At least it wasn't gore for like the sake of it. There was a lot of development. There was a lot of character interactions I thought were great. Isaac is best boy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Isaac, one of my favorite characters of the series. I do really like the main three though, because for those of you who don't know, Trevor Belmont is the kind of main protagonist of the Castlevania show. He is also accompanied by Sypha Belnades, also best girl.
Oh, always best girl.
Yeah, Sypha best girl, hands down. Alucard, second best boy.
Trevor doesn't deserve her.
Trevor doesn't deserve a lot of things.
He is a whole trash man.
But like, look, he saved the day. He had magical death killing knife at the end of it.
We'll circle back to that statement.
Oh, okay.
All right. All right. So I said this was perfect, but there's like one big gripe I kind of have with it.
Okay.
The handling of Saint Germain.
Okay. Look, Saint Germain was a little wacky. To be fair, my man's got manipulated, but also he didn't really have to do all that. I liked his character at first in like season 3.
I did too. That's what I'm saying though. In season, you said season 2, right?
No, season 3.
Season
that's when Saint Germain
that was oh god, that arc.
Yeah. Oh,
there was no good ending there. that mayor was on some fuck shit.
Oh, yes, the judge.
I'm sorry, the judge. He was on the oh god.
I mean, it was bad, but like hey, we all got our secrets.
We all got our secrets.
Yeah, like he's like, look, burn my house down. Y'all don't need to go up in there. Don't investigate. It's all good. I'm dead. Who cares?
Damn, he might as well just send a letter. Don't even worry about it.
Look, that's literally what he said.
Mind your business,
right? Burn my house down. Don't worry about all the secret killings I've been doing.
All that secret murder. Don't worry about that.
Exactly. Look, my town was devastated by a night creature and made all these monks go cuckoo. We don't have
I'm a good guy,
right? Don't worry about what's in my house. All these
I'll go worried about what's in your house,
right? Do I go into your town looking for missing children and stuff, missing adults? Stupid. I don't know what toilet paper is, but you go sit there and investigate my house? You're dumb. Okay, stay out of my shit, Trevor and Cypher. Ain't nobody ask you to investigate me. What are you, Child Protective Service? Shut up,
yo.
The judge might as well have said that.
Yeah. But more to the point.
Yes,
Saint Germain, wonderful character in season 3.
Oh yeah,
I thought it was great. His heel turn in season 4 though.
Oh yeah, that
was
got
a
dark.
little much.
It got a little dark.
It wasn't even. It was dark. It was like a complete 180 that didn't seem to make a whole lot of sense to me.
So apparently the story for season 4 got rushed because the head writer for Castlevania got in a little hot water because of allegations. So that's why like everything's a little weird.
Okay, because that would explain a lot.
Yes, that if you think like season 4 felt a little rushed and everything, some things felt a little unfinished, it's because of that.
Yeah, like the death reveal.
I thought the death reveal was probably one of the best moments of season 4.
I wouldn't say it was bad, but it was sudden.
Well, they were kind of alluding to it from like the beginning. Well, like, Trevor and Cypher were kind of like exploring like all those other like little places, and then they get to like the thing where like, and Trevor's like explaining like, oh yeah, that's what death looks like or whatever, and death is like a vampire and everything who feeds on death instead of like blood. It's quirky. Look at me being different. I'm deaf. I feed on death, not blood, because I'm different. I'm a vegan vampire. Stupid.
Wow. Here's the thing, though. I wouldn't mind that death was there. That's not my deal.
Okay.
Who death was like the thing for me.
Well, the funny thing was like the thing that I didn't catch at first. Also spoilers, because like death is in it if you haven't seen Castlevania already. But also, if you haven't seen Castlevania already, what's taking you so long? Do you not have Netflix? I'll give you my Netflix. Like,
don't do that, because you're gonna get so many people like, where's your Netflix, bro?
I'm also a habitual liar, so there we go. Anyway, so yeah, if you haven't seen this, Death was a character called Varney, but the funny thing was like they kept alluding to his stench, and I was like, huh. It made sense at the end of it, but it was also really stupid that they snuck it in there, where they were saying that like, this boy, you stank, like, and I can smell you coming from a mile away.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it's the stench of death. Tee-hee. Not funny. Very cute.
They were real cheeky about that.
All
I got from that was that dude didn't shower, and it would amaze me that anybody showered in post Dracula world, but
yeah, I was gonna say this was the 1400s, like late 1400s at that, where
right,
like
we talking Black Plague, we talking Dracula just hit, night creatures are a thing,
right? Like, and I mean, Saint Germain did say something about soap and water to like Trevor. He's like, boy, you stink.
He said, your tunic dirty. You dirty.
You a bum. You drunk. You smell like beer and piss. What is wrong with you? What happened to the Belmonts?
You have zero drip, and we need to fix that.
Yeah, that was a thing that was mishandled. I say in season 4 also, like, the Vampire Sisters story abruptly came to an end.
Vampire Sisters story.
So, you know, Carmilla, Lenore, Striga, Morana.
That.
Where I do have to laugh where, like, Striga was like, look, if Carmilla did, Lenore died first. Because I was like, yikes. Y'all ain't got one shred of faith for your girl. Just like Carmilla did. Look, Lenore died first. That girl can't do nothing.
I mean, is that what happened?
So Carmilla died before Lenore did, but to be fair, Carmilla also like killed herself. Like Carmilla was like, look,
I want to see the sun.
Well, that was Lenore. Lenore is like,
yeah, you're right. Carmilla, she got waxed.
Well, look, Isaac almost had her. She was like, look, I win, you lose. You can't kill me because I kill me. I'm gone.
Basically.
Lenore was like, me a pet? Like I made you? No. Like, man, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. I'm out.
Basically, she's
like,
she
deuces.
hit that peace sign and she
like,
was gone.
Deuces. The sun 0 out of 10, mid. Why did I stay up for this? That's how she looked at it. Like, I stayed awake for this. This is the sun. Boy, you tripping. I'm out.
This ain't nothing to the moon.
Right?
Stupid.
Like, I'm out of here, Hector. Have a nice life.
I wish we'd have seen more Strega.
More, oh God, like that one camp scene and everything where she basically turned into Nightmare.
So,
literally Nightmare, literally guts.
So here's my thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
If Strega had stayed at the castle, Isaac wouldn't have won.
That's fair.
I'm putting that out there into the world.
Oh, Strega would have murked
Isaac. Just rinsed him. I love Isaac. Isaac is like my favorite character in this show. He that got broke off.
Not with Zaddy Night Creature by his side.
Even with Zaddy Night Creature.
Zaddy Night Creature was the best. Look, that was like one of the best like non-speaking roles in that show. He was like, I'm here to look good and whoop ass, and that's what he did. Like there was
another reference to Curse of Darkness.
Oh yeah, that was a thing too.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, that was like Isaac's personal demon, and like people were like, the thirst for that demon was ridiculous. They were like, I want this demon to ruin me. I'm like, that's a night creature.
Y'all out here like, how can we summon him? Filthy degenerates, all of you.
I mean, it's kind of appropriate for like Castlevania. Like,
if I would say if fuckers out here,
right? If I would say if you ain't having sex with a monster these days, what kind of person are you? I don't think I want to know anybody who wouldn't see that and be like, yeah, I only have sex with humans and everything. Like, stop lying to yourself. You'd hit it. It wouldn't be daylight, but you still do it.
Wow. All right.
I'm just saying.
All right, man.
I need people to be honest about their morals. But the moral of the story is go watch Castlevania. It's great.
It has so much. We've only scraped so much of this. We haven't even gotten to Alucard's arc.
Oh.
Which
okay, pour one out for my boy. He's been through so much.
He needs a hug. He needs therapy. My man's needs therapy.
Right? You lost your mom. You lost your dad.
You was in the whole, probably one of the worst threesomes in media.
Okay. Yeah, everything was good till it wasn't.
Basically.
They were like, man, he got the throat neckington. You know, they gave him a little bit of that swirl that, like, you know, I don't.
And then they were just like, no one ever helps us after being helped profusely.
Right? They were like, where's the magic? How come you ain't moved this castle? Alucard was like, castle machine broke. And they were like,
we gonna fix it.
Right? Fix it or we kill you. And they tried. And I wanted to Sumi and Taka to, like, I at least wanted them to make it to season 4 without dying, but like,
I mean,
yeah.
They made it there. They just weren't alive.
Yikes. Yikes on bikes.
If you want to know what that means, watch Castlevania. It's on Netflix.
Yeah, Alucard's arc was, I would say it had a decent ending though.
Yes, it had a great ending.
Like Alucard got what he wanted, and that was the friends who he made along the way.
Yeah, that's his whole story.
Trevor and Cypher's arc pretty much came to the same conclusion as well.
Look, the second they were talking about how she was pregnant, all I heard was the vampire killer.
Not the theme popping up.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I hate you.
Vampire killer comes on, and we get the descendant of the Belmonts.
I mean, look, Trevor wasn't gone though. He just, I mean, granted, they made it look like he was for the longest, and
he just had a knife fight with Death.
He literally brought a knife to a scythe fight with Death. He had 2 whips. Death was like, "Look, you ain't shit. Your girlfriend ain't shit. I'm gonna strangle her with your dead soul wrapped around." Like, Death said some really messed up stuff. I was like, Death, you need to calm down. What
I will say, the budget they had on that fight, bruh.
Oh yeah, that animation was good, and I think that was another weird thing about like season 4 too. Is like the animation was a little weird in certain areas.
It was pretty inconsistent, but that last fight, they were like, "Look, screw everything we've done until now. Put all the budget here, right here."
There you go. Yeah, and it felt very like last battle like, especially with the way they did everything. Actually, that kind of reminds me of what you were talking about earlier with like Saint Germain and like how his art got messed up.
Yes.
This man did like he went to the Infinite Corridor because he was like looking for his bae. He's like, "Look, where you at? I need to find you." And he got manipulated in the Infinite Corridor. She was like, "Look, there was some mysterious woman in there." She was like, "Hey, if you do this like little thing, you can get your girl back. But also you have to like do some messed up stuff with like Death and his wife." It's a very convoluted thing. Like, put both of their souls in the same body to drive him insane. It's gonna be great. But if you do this, you can control the Infinite Corridor. He's like, do I get to see Bae back? And then all that work surmounted to, "I will have sex again." And I was like, what? Like, you telling me you're bringing back Dracula and his wife's dead soul to put him in this one body of this creature so Dracula could go insane with his dead wife's soul inside him. Also, you can get some coochie? Like, that's what you're telling me, Saint Germain? That's why you did all this? That's why you killed all these people?
Have you seen dating sites?
Okay. I'm not going to sit there and equate Tinder to, like,
mass murder?
Yeah. Like, I don't think committing murder in the name of alchemy just to get coochie is amounting to...
I mean, he was just an incel.
Look. As long as Saint Germain ain't like a hotep or everything telling you broccoli is man-made.
He is. I'm not even addressing that. He is.
I got some TikToks to show you. I'm just saying.
We'll come back to that after the show. Okay. He is a cautionary tale of what happens when you give incels power. Oh God, prove me wrong. And with that, I think we'll wrap up the show. Now, of course, we have our segment of the sound off.
Okay.
Matt, you got anything you need to yell at the void about?
Oh wait, we still have to do our Resident Evil retrospective.
We have been on Castlevania for so long, I forgot about that. All right.
Yeah, I was like, we can't end the show just yet.
You are absolutely correct.
We still have to go through the entirety of what is Resident Evil.
Oh man, there's so much of that. All right, cool. Let's do that.
Yeah, because I was gonna say we could talk about the games and the movies. But I think we both have like those kind of small areas of expertise there. I would say I haven't seen all the movies.
That's fine. The games, when you want to talk about a series that's wildly inconsistent.
Oh yeah,
we'll talk about these games though, right?
Okay.
All right, so I'm gonna go in chronological order. I think I'd like to go.
Okay.
Of course, there's gonna be some side games that I'm just gonna not know what order they go in. That's fine.
Yeah, that's cool.
So Resident Evil 0. It's about as okay as a Resident Evil game can get. It is okay. Is it great? No. Is it bad? Debatable, but it's pretty okay.
Okay.
Resident Evil 1. ages like milk if you play the original one, but if you play the remake of it that's on the GameCube, it still ages a little like milk, but this milk's a little fresher.
Okay, so instead of like 30-year-old milk, it's like
15-year-old milk.
Okay, 15-year-old milk is a little bit. It's a little bit better than 30-year-old milk.
Resident Evil 2 is in that same boat. If the original one.
Wait, what are you talking about? Resident Evil 2 is the GOAT according to Resident Evil fans.
Yes, the remake is.
Resident Evil 2 remake was good.
That game is fantastic. That is probably one of the best horror games to ever be created. I love that game. I don't know what I would do for that game, but I would do it. The original one, while still good, is a PS1 game.
That game is crunchy, okay?
Yes.
Like that movement, I don't know who thought those tank controls were great.
Tank controls, we have advanced beyond the need for tank controls. Let's see. Resident Evil 3. That was a game.
Oh. You're not even going to talk about the remake?
Remake was also a game.
They
were both games that people could play. Now, if they should play them,
debatable.
I'm not the authority on what you should do. I'm not your parent. I wouldn't do that.
Wait, but I thought the remake was good.
The remake is okay. It's fine.
It's not Resident Evil 2 remake.
No, that's a high bar too.
Okay.
I think Code Veronica's somewhere in there. It is also fine.
Okay.
It's not my favorite, but I won't say it's a bad game. There are some of these I will say are outright bad. Code Veronica is not one of them.
Okay.
Let's see. Then we have 4.
Blessed be.
Now,
like
I want to.
Look,
put out there.
I'm sorry. It's the crux of Resident Evil for me. It don't get no better than that.
I won't debate that, but what I will say, the version you play matters.
This is true.
GameCube version, supreme, immaculate.
And people like I think people are still upset about that to this day. Where it's like, how can a Nintendo product be the best version of something?
Because they didn't know how to port it to the PS2 for some reason.
And every port after that was like I think the PS2 version.
Yeah, which wasn't great.
It was not. And you think with like the GameCube version being there, it would be so easy to port the GameCube version to other Nintendo systems. No. They didn't do it. Like I almost bought the Switch version just so I could like play it again, and they were like, "No, you have these really ridiculous controls from the PS3 era." Mm-hmm. Oh no, I'm good. Thank you.
So you can't just pop in your GameCube controller and just play it. You can't. And that's why all the re-releases have been weird to me, because I didn't know at first that it was the PS2 one. But then I learned, and I was like, yeah, I can stop buying this game now.
That's fair.
Now, if you grew up with the PS2 one, that's different. But if you grew up with the PS2 one, I urge you to go back and play the GameCube one.
I still my favorite Resident Evil game. Like, it was, everything just felt right on a GameCube controller.
Yes. Resident Evil 5.
That was a wacky game.
This is a game that if you play it with another human being can be an amazing experience. And if you play it with the AI though, you want to talk about a test of patience? You want to know how many times I died because my partner was just a fucking idiot?
Okay, respect black women, because Sheva Alomar was a good partner.
Yes, she could have been way better if she didn't realize, that'll kill me.
This is true.
I think that game would have benefited from one of two things: a revive system or smarter AI.
Yeah, that's true. That was weird that they didn't have a revive system especially when you could play with a partner. Like that would have worked out perfectly.
Not only was she dumb, she would just take stuff from me. Like, bro, I needed those bullets. These blue nondescript racially ambiguous people are coming towards me, and I need bullets.
Not racially nondescript. I like how you said that, like there was like a copyright claim or something on this.
Like, that's a discussion I don't want. Okay, I have feelings about where it was set, but I played that game. Okay.
I said many a thing about Resident Evil 5. For those of you who don't know, Resident Evil 5 takes place in Africa. Guess who's the main protagonist of Resident Evil 5? Chris Redfield, who's white.
When that game came out, I will never forget the day that somebody said that he's not white, he is clear skinned.
What?
Yeah. Oh, you weren't there for that discourse?
No.
How he's not white, he's clear skinned, and that makes it okay?
That's not a thing. 2, this man is killing black zombies. So that was a little weird for me.
Yeah, not to get too SJW on y'all, but that was a white man killing black people with a black woman accomplice.
I don't even want to talk about like the nuances of that.
But hey, he punched the boulder.
Oh my god. If there is one thing that upsets me about Resident Evil 5 people is that they always mention that moment. I will say this. That was a good boss battle.
Can you punch a boulder?
Can you punch a boulder?
I mean, I can. I don't think I'll do it as effectively as Chris Redfield, but I can.
That's why the game is camp, because they can't nobody like punch a boulder that many times.
Did you see his arms? Did you see his arms?
That man was ridiculously
That man
swole.
was ripped. That man had stars, had the BSAA on his back. He is the mission.
You know what? Fine. I'll give you that. Oh, another thing that we forgot to mention with Resident Evil, because with Resident Evil 4 came with like the birth of like the mercenaries.
Ah, yes, mercenaries mode.
I really like that mode.
Yeah, it's a great mode. I don't think it was good enough to make its own game like they did for the 3DS. No, the DS, not the 3DS.
No, that was 3DS.
Was it 3DS?
Yeah.
You're right, because I was in the age of them trying to put games on there that were relevant and make people want to buy the system, and it didn't work.
Yeah, I think it would have worked as like a standalone game, maybe on like a console, not a handheld.
Or maybe they could have added it to the game they put on the 3DS later, Revelations.
This is true. They could have added it to that,
which was affectionately called Revelations for a while because of a misprint on the cover.
Oh,
I still have that misprint cover because I will never let Capcom forget that they once put Revelations on the cover.
Hey, that might be worth some money.
You could be correct. But I'm going to keep it. It is mine. I will get to that game in a moment. Resident Evil 6.
Ooh,
it was 3 games they tried to put in the one game, and each of those 3 games were so different that why did you do that?
Yeah, because it was like what I think Chris
was playing Call of Duty. Leon was playing Resident Evil 2. I don't know what Lil Wesker was doing.
Not Lil Wesker.
He was trying to play a fighting game or something. Lil Wesker was busy. I don't like.
Wait, are you saying Lil Wesker was trying to take it? It was trying to look after his dad in like Marvel vs. Capcom 3 or something?
Perhaps. Look, he had a lot of his moves.
He did. That was weird.
So I don't know what Capcom was trying to do, but no, don't ever do that again.
Yeah, that was a weird amalgamation of like, yeah, because I think Chris's version was supposed to be like more like Resident Evil 5 or something like that. Bro, 4 and 5 where they were making it more actiony. He's like, yeah, I'm Chris and I have muscles. Did you see me punch that boulder and take down Wesker?
See, the way they introduced him was so stupid. He's like, I'm depressed. I'm sad. I'm gonna have a drink in a bar because I'm sad.
I lost all my men.
So he goes to this nondescript bar and whoa, wacky coincidence. All the people who were in there are like BSAA members who are like, we want you back, Chris, but I'm sad. Please? All right.
Where's Wesker? I killed him, right? That's why I'm sad.
Wesker's dead, right? That's the end of my character arc. No, sir. We have a few more games to go.
Fine. And then Leon was like,
zombies? That was him. That was his whole character arc.
We're not in Raccoon City anymore. That's what Leon did.
That's basically it. Zombies in the White House? Gotta stop them. And I don't know what Lil Wesker was on. You can't pay me to remember his arc.
I think his arc was like, I'm not my dad, but I am my dad. Sherry Birkin is here for some reason. She's an adult. Whatever.
Oh, and how can I possibly forget the hidden Ada Wong part where it's like all the Resident Evil puzzling you could ever ask for.
Oh yeah, and it's like
stealth. Yeah,
like look at this secret sex doll that Wesker made of me for some reason as a clone.
That was a weird game. And people swore that this is going to be a game that we grow up and think was a masterpiece.
No.
I don't think that's
like that game been out for 10 years now? No, absolutely not. That Resident Evil 6 is garbage. I would play 5 before I play 6.
And that's really saying something because 5
isn't a bad game. It's just like it's very weird.
You gotta play it with people. That's the thing. So if you ever want to play Resident Evil 5, you let me know.
I got you.
Cool. So now we get into the side projects before we get into the entire Ethan Winters saga.
Oh. All right, and I got some words about that because I watched both those games and it is interesting.
So basically, we got Resident Evil Revelations 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
Revelations 1, I think, was pretty good. It was trying to go back to its horror roots a little bit more, but I mean, you can only go so far back.
Mm-hmm.
Revelations 2. All right, so let's move on to Resident Evil 7. The Ethan Winters saga start.
Okay.
You said you have a lot of things you feel about that.
I mean, I would say like Resident Evil 7 and 8 because that's pretty much the entirety of the Ethan Winters arc.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting games. Like they went to first person because it was like it feels like a weird like trilogy of things where like Resident Evils 1 through 3 like you're getting the tank controls, 4 through 6 you're getting like the more actiony stuff, and then it's like I guess like 9 is probably going to be another first person game where it's just like okay like this is an interesting direction you're taking with the series, but like whatever. I liked wacky hillbilly like zombie people. Like I thought that was like an interesting thing for like 7. Also like for some reason like I forget the story of Resident Evil 7. It was just weird.
Hillbilly family got experimented on. They have this experimental drug that regenerates parts, so they're almost invincible. I think there was like a little girl who was the cause of all this. Blah blah blah. I'm gonna be out. I'm gonna be straight with you right now.
Please don't.
Not my favorite. Didn't like it that much. I thought the game was real annoying.
I can see that.
I thought this game was real annoying. I was not a fan of this game. All it did was bother me the entire time. I just wanted it to stop. Now, when it was scary, I will say it made me tense because going through these places and the first person view and the sound design, immaculate. But then you introduced, what is they called? The Molden.
Oh, it's and I think that's a thing that bothers me about the Resident Evil series. Like every new game, they always have to come up with like that one enemy that's supposed to irritate the shit out of you.
And it worked because I hate the Molden. I hated that entire. If they had taken all the parts I had to endure the Molden out, I probably would have had a better experience.
So remind me of the Molden again, because
they're basically failed versions of the hillbillies. As far as I know, I don't fucking remember. Ugh.
That sounds like some Last of Us BS.
Oh, it was stupid.
I should have probably talked about that at some point, but we can do that later.
I don't want to talk about Last of Us
because
all I want to do is upset people.
That's fair.
I've already upset enough people with Last of Us. All right, I don't want to keep.
Okay, that's fair.
Resident Evil 8, however, Village.
Okay, so this is I feel about Resident Evil 8 the same way I do about 5. Very campy. This was a wacky game.
Look. I would play 8 for the rest of my life if it meant I never had to play 5 again by myself.
Really?
I love 8.
8 is I would say 8 is a pretty fun game. Like
I don't know why people draw the comparison that it's like 4. I don't get that vibe.
Kinda, not really.
But here are some things I have to say about it.
Okay.
Ethan Winters, bro, you need new hands. I don't know how this man had his hands messed up so much and he was like, all right, gotta keep going. No, dude, you need a hospital.
Yeah, because that happened in Resident Evil 7. His hand got chopped off and stapled that bad boy back on. It was like, yeah.
They already established that was a thing that can happen, right? Because of the hillbillies, they have a drug where if they do stuff like that, it'll just reattach with the drug. Okay, that the chemical stuff that they were experimenting with. That was an established thing.
Okay.
Now in 8, I guess they're just like, yeah, we got the chemical too. All right.
Yeah.
Of course,
fine.
you're gonna have to play it to see how that all ties together.
Yeah, it's like, in this remote European village, which everybody doesn't have European accents for some reason. People just have this access to this thing.
And Chris Redfield comes and kills his wife.
Yes, dark Chris Redfield.
Yes,
evil Chris Redfield. I hate everybody.
Lady Dimitrescu.
Yes,
a whole
Dommy mommy vampire what's big booba.
What's the phrase? A bait and switch?
Oh wait, what? How was that a bait and switch?
Because she was not. Everybody would have thought that she was the prominent character of the game. She was not.
Oh right, that was funny, and I'm glad everybody gave into their thirst and got tricked like that.
I think that's the first time I've said her name correctly.
Dimitrescu.
Yeah, and it's not out of like me not knowing her name. I think it's the refusal to say that name. I've been calling her like Lady Demetrius. Destructoid, just anything that starts with a D, and I think I'm gonna go back to that. That makes me comfortable.
Lady Decepticon.
There you go. See?
Oh wait, that's even perfect because like she
sure did deceive y'all.
Well, yeah, she was not in that game long. I remember her boss battle being very interesting.
It was, but the thing that got me right, y'all thirsting after her. My boy Heisenberg was right there.
His name actually was Heisenberg, wasn't it?
Yes. My boy, my favorite.
Oh, you mean Nick Cage? Because that's literally who he was. I think one of my favorite bits was like that. Was that moment where when they first called Ethan, they were all in the room with him, and then that little like puppet girl and like the fish dude were arguing. Mm-hmm. He's like, "Bobby, you shut the fuck up." I was like, wait, this is just Nick Cage as a character.
That's fine, because I really like Nick Cage as a character, as a person, as an actor. Fan.
Talk to me about Ghost Rider, then we can.
I will watch that movie. Don't try me. I will sit us down and watch that movie.
It's knocking at the door.
If you don't think I won't sit and enjoy Ghost Rider, then you don't know me as a person.
Oh,
Nick Cage can do no wrong in my eyes.
Ooh, boy. Ooh, sir.
That's fine. I don't even care.
You should.
I don't.
You know what? No, I would say that, okay, if you're a true Nick Cage fan, watch some of his older movies. Watch The Rock and watch Con Air, and then come talk to me.
Bet. You think I won't do that? I will absolutely do that.
You know what? You're right. You're gonna do it. Do what you please. I'm not your parent, like you said. I'm not your parent.
We're not parents here.
Well, I'm a parent, but that's different.
We're not each other's parents.
This is true. But I couldn't parent you if I wanted to.
Now, Heisenberg, you all failed him. You all betrayed him. You were all terrible. Every single one of you that was like, sit on me, mommy, crush me with your 9 feet and massive ass. You are all degenerates. None of you will see heaven.
What?
And you all failed Heisenberg.
People aren't seeing heaven because they were thirsted out that Lady Dimitrescu?
First of all, she is a whole zombie creature woman who is probably rotten on the inside. Have you seen her daughters? One of them was literally a pile of bugs.
They're all a pile of bugs, if I'm not mistaken. True. And also, people don't care.
You're right. The world's going to shit. They don't care what they screw with.
Look, that woman was a giant woman.
The internet was flooded with her. My God.
She's a pale, tall, vampire-esque woman and everything. They were all for it. It didn't matter.
Clearly it did not. But that's fine. I hope they all felt something when they had to murder her. That's all I could ask for.
Okay. I liked Heisenberg as a character. Like he was definitely one of the more interesting ones.
That doll, I don't want to talk about the doll. I don't want to talk about
I don't think I saw that part. It was probably like a very forgettable part anyway.
It was a part that, I don't know about forgettable.
Okay.
It sure was a part though. But other than that, I think Resident Evil 8 is great. It is probably in my top 3 Resident Evils.
Ooh.
Yes, I love that game.
Okay, what are your top 3 Resident Evils?
4, Revelations 1, 8.
Fair. That's a good assessment.
2 is just below 8. I enjoyed 8 more than 2. 2 was in that top 3, but I enjoyed 8 more than 2.
That's fair.
The remake, not the original.
Remake is really good.
Now, the other side of Resident Evil. The side that you're more familiar with. The movies.
Ooh,
You like the movies?
I movie watching is a thing that I do. Yes.
Yeah. You got a whole other show about it. What's it called? Hollywolves?
Yeah.
And your namesake?
Yeah.
Yeah, you like movies?
Oh, yeah, those Resident Evil movies though.
Let's talk about it. Educate us about them.
So I would say the Resident Evil movies are loosely based on the games of the same title. And I use loosely very liberally because there are bits and pieces of the games within the movies where they have like certain like main characters and everything. I think all the characters are in it at some point. I know Chris is there. I know Claire is there. I know Jill is there. And I know Wesker like is pretty much like prominent throughout the movies, but that's about it.
The connection to those movies is they filmed the movie while somebody was in like a whole other studio screaming, "This is a Resident Evil movie."
Yeah, it's like the LaCroix of Resident Evil. Like it's Resident Evil, but like, barely. 'Cause the movies seem to focus around Alice, who doesn't show up in the games at all. Like she's just a person they put on the movies because Milla Jovovich was like. The funny thing is they could have just made Milla Jovovich Jill. Like that was a thing. That was a decision that somebody could have just made, and the movies would have been all right.
Look,
but
I've seen enough Milla Jovovich movies to know that they don't make great decisions with Milla Jovovich.
Not wrong. Well, I would say like one of Milla Jovovich's best roles is Fifth Element as Leeloo Dallas.
Okay, yep, that is probably her crowning role.
And she barely spoke in that movie. Like it was all gibberish and stuff, but it was really good. She acted her ass off.
Yeah.
Doing what she does best as one of the most prominent women in action movies. But still, it was just like.
I just want her to have good roles. I'm not. That's all I want.
So yeah, Alice was like the main character of the movies for some reason. I'm really fuzzy about it because I think they were following the story at some point, and then at the end it just got wacky. Alice like kills Wesker, and there's like all this stuff going on. The movies are like just a clusterfuck of I don't know what's going on. I need to go back and rewatch like kind of all these. I don't want to.
Do you need to? Do you really need to?
I don't need to, but I want to. But just so I can get a better understanding about it. These movies are not fantastic. Not my favorite things to watch. Because like there was like Extinction and Afterlife and Aftermath and Revelation, and it was just like, what do these things mean? Why is Milla Jovovich in all these? Other than like, contracts and money.
Why were there so many of them?
Because money. And I think Capcom at the time, like, yeah, they had like all their other ventures going on, but they were like, we're going to milk Resident Evil for all it's worth. Instead of making like Resident Evil games, why don't we make terrible movies?
I feel like the synopsis of each movie is that Albert Wesker is sitting in a lab and he's doing something like comically evil. They stop the comically evil plan at the nick of time, and he just kind of goes off in a hot air balloon. I'll be back, or some whatever crap.
That's literally like what happens until like the end, where I think Alice kills him. I forget how she does it though, and it was very weird. I was like, I checked out of those Resident Evil movies a long time ago.
I just kind of feel like they just should have taken the Chris approach and just nipped them in the bud when they could have.
But why would they do that when they need a bad guy to be the bad guy? And Wesker is like the epitomal bad guy or at least he was at the time. I would say still he's probably one of the more prominent villains. And I think even in the games they killed Wesker a little too early.
I don't know about that. I think you can only take a villain so far in games like Resident Evil.
That's fair.
And I think his death gave other villains room to kind of like become a thing. Like, just imagine if we find out in the Ethan Winters saga that Wesker has been the reason Ethan has been suffering all along.
I would die laughing, because then it'd literally be Bleach, where Wesker is just Eisen.
Basically. And
I'm the one who made you a mole baby when you were born, so that's why you're like this.
I found out about you as a child, and I decided to torture you for the rest of your life, Ethan.
Why does Wesker sound like Quan Chi?
Why does he sound like that? You've heard him in the movies and games.
You know what? Fair enough. You know what? You're right, because Wesker was like a thing from like Resident Evil 1 to like 5, so like that's a good run.
I have no idea who's the villain of 6.
The villain is the game itself.
I like it. There we go.
Like
the villain is Capcom,
right? If you play Resident Evil 6 and everything, like the villain is Capcom. They made you play a bad game, so like that's on you.
There you have it, Resident Evil, a series that encapsulates the inconsistent experience.
Yeah, it's probably one of my like favorite like things. My favorite like franchises and everything when it comes to horror. Because they kind of like, I would say it was like one of the things that kind of rejuvenated the zombie genre in certain ways.
Because there was a long while where zombie games were like an oversaturated market and they were all bad. Except Left 4 Dead. It was a great game.
Well, but then again, like Left 4 Dead is after like Resident Evil like initially became a thing. I'm talking about like at the like when Resident Evil first started. Where like it kind of revolutionized like the zombie like genre.
It did put horror on the map.
And so like with horror games, like everybody was like, oh snap, zombies with tank controls, like this is the greatest thing ever. And then they play other games and they're like, oh, like this is shit. But I do love Resident Evil as a series. I only hope that like the future of Resident Evil gets better. Especially if it's anything like 8, where like 8 had like a really nice story, really interesting characters, and I think that's what is going to keep Resident Evil alive as a franchise.
I think it's gonna take a lot for Resident Evil to just fall off the map. I mean, it's clearly something that sells.
Yeah, it's a mainstay. But I'm just saying, as far as like good games, we need good stories and we need good characters. I think that's all you kind of need in order to make a good Resident Evil game. I mean, gameplay and everything aside, yeah, you need that too. But you really want to get people in, make a good story, make great characters to kind of people to kind of memorize, resonate with and memorize. That way, like nobody forgets Wesker, nobody forgets like Claire, Jill, and Chris and everything because they're main characters. But like other characters and stuff are like the things that like kind of keep people coming back. Like Wesker was like a thing that made me want to keep coming back to Resident Evil. And I think we need more we need more villains like that. We need more side characters like that as well.
Agreed. Because some of the side characters, you couldn't pay me to remember them. Some of them are just that forgettable. I remember some of the stuff they did, but if you ask me their names, I'm going to look at you blankly.
Agreed.
So here's to hoping Resident Evil thrives and maybe brings more horror into the genre of gaming. Because let's face it, Resident Evil is kind of the forerunner of horror games as we know it.
Yeah.
Because, Silent Hill is dead.
Ooh. Well, maybe not. I heard there are rumors that like Konami is like kind of revitalizing Silent Hill at some point.
Look, man. I'm tired of rumors. I'm tired of being baited. All right.
You're tired of the vaporware?
That I am. They almost gave me Silent Hills, and then they were like, no.
That's fair.
No, we want to make a pachinko machine. They just want to lie to me, man. I just want Silent Hill back, and they just won't give it to me.
Okay. Before we end this show and everything, we got one more thing that we need to talk about. Since this is Spooky Month, how about we end this on like a note of your favorite slasher film and favorite horror film?
Okay. All right. We'll do that instead of our sound off because I have nothing to do that with. Favorite horror and favorite slasher. Child's Play is going to be my favorite slasher because what is better than watching a murderous doll kill people for no good reason?
That's very on brand for you. Like it's Child's Play because it's kind of wacky, and like Chucky is like a wisecracking 40-year-old man in a doll's body who's like, look, I'm tired of this. I'm gonna kill this kid and be reborn in his body.
It was him and that kid on site forever.
It was, and it was very weird, like voodoo. Oh yeah, that was a thing that people need to talk about with Child's Play too. There was a lot of cultural appropriation. Like this white man knows voodoo and he just happens to put himself in a doll. Like who came up with that story?
Yeah, that was the 90s. Well, that was like late 80s.
No, it was no.
It was
I think
90s?
Child's Play came out in 89, I think 89, 90, somewhere around that.
Time to play that game.
Ah, yes.
Google in the middle of the show.
I believe Child's Play came out in 1990, if I'm not mistaken, but I could be wrong.
Well, let's see. Child's Play. 1988.
Oh, okay. So I was off by a little bit. So yeah, late 80s, early 90s, minus same damn difference. Like everything was.
It's all semantics, man.
So yeah. And it's so funny. Like I think that's another like funny thing with like Child's Play 2 is that it took place in Chicago. A lot of slasher films take place in Chicago, if I'm not, or take place in Illinois. What?
I'm reading the synopsis. They don't say voodoo. They say black magic. Bruh.
That's racist.
Bruh.
Or prejudice, at least.
Come on.
That's bigoted.
Come on.
Well, I don't know. Maybe black magic is multifaceted and layered for too much so that we can't understand it.
You might be correct.
So
it might be beyond us because we aren't thinking in multifaceted and layered terms.
You know what? You're right. What is voodoo besides being multifaceted and layered black magic?
Now, as far as my favorite horror film, that's gonna go to Alien.
That's a very respected.
I love that movie. You give me the premise of a bunch of people fucking around on a spaceship, and one of the most lethal creatures in the universe chasing them down. So just this indestructible force of basically nature, hunting them down, killing them. It's gory. It's frightening, and I think the franchise, while iffy, has spawned some of the greatest movies and some of the worst movies in horror today.
This
Plus,
is true.
It spawned one of the absolute greatest horror games to ever be created in Alien Isolation.
Interesting.
You want to know what fear is? You want to know what terror is? You are being hunted down by a xenomorph with so limited resources that you are going to die. You are going to be scared. It's going to be a lot, but you're going to like it.
Okay. I will keep that in mind next time I'm like on YouTube. I'm gonna just I'll probably have to look up some videos about that because I'm just like, what?
Play it.
I don't want to.
You should.
I don't want to be scared shitless.
What do you fear?
A lot of things, really.
It'll be okay.
Okay. I would say my favorite slasher film, even though this is like slasher slash horror because there is supernatural elements in it, Friday the 13th, probably one of my favorite franchises. Jason Voorhees is, I would say, one of my favorite antagonists in horror, just because, like, you know, the circumstances of how he like came to be is like just very like wacky, where like in the original it was like his mom doing all the killings. And then somehow he got revived to like kill people at Camp Crystal Lake, which is also in Illinois. And I'm like, what? Like, why do a lot of these like
bad things keep happening in Illinois? I
mean, look, Nightmare on Elm Street, Child's Play, Halloween, Friday the 13th.
I am willing to say that Illinois is the birthplace and the epicenter of horror.
This is true. A lot of those, like, a lot of the key franchises in horror are kind of like set in Illinois, which is like I'm kind of proud of and kind of not proud of. It's weird.
I just kind of feel like a lot of things that happened could have been avoided if it was like, bro, stay out the lake.
Look, but that's like the classic movie trope is like, don't be horny, don't have sex, and you'll live, maybe. And people do it. They're like
that lake water was not that good.
I don't know, man. Have you ever been at a lake at night and everything with your lady friend, and all of a sudden, like, it's a little spooky, and you just thought, like, look, it'd be really nice right now having like premarital sex in this tent in the woods. I hope nothing like supernatural comes to like maim us or anything, and then it happens, and it's like weird. It's like, wow,
whoa,
like you
if
just
only there were warning signs,
right? Like there'll be there, and that'll be funny too. There'll be signs like keep out, stay away. They're like, well, that sign can't stop me because I can't read. They just turned to DW from Arthur for some reason. And then they probably just look at their dead bodies like, man, if only I had listened to the warning signs.
That's basically horror. They see a bunch of signs that's like keep out, don't enter, Indian burial ground, you'll die if you come through, and they'll look at those signs like, wonder who that's for, and just keep walking.
Right? We're like, man, like,
good luck to those guys. I'm gonna keep on trucking.
But yeah, Friday the 13th. Jason Voorhees is really cool. I think there's a lot of other things in the Friday the 13th franchise they could have explored a little bit more, like Jason X, where he was in space for no reason. And the wacky thing about that was like they just happen to have this like machine on a ship that can like heal people and make them better and give them like metal appendages. Jason, for some reason, they obliterated this man. Like, had like these best like space age weapons, and they were like, bam, Jason done. Blew his head off, blew his leg off, blew his arm off. He was out of there. And then they knocked him into one of the like machines that just happened to malfunction at the right moment, and was like, oh, there's a person on this table, let me fix him. And then this man came back and he came back with a vengeance. He had on this like metal like space age hockey mask, had a new machete and everything. He's like, oh, word. One of my favorites, that movie was absolutely terrible. It was garbage. I don't know who thought Jason needed to be in space, but they put him in space, and then they gave him like space age stuff. It was ridiculous, and I loved it.
That's a crazy movie you just made up there. I've never heard of it. I have no idea what that is.
Jason X. Go look it up. I hope to watch it again someday.
Wow, that's a movie that don't exist. But let's Google it just to be sure.
You don't have to.
Don't worry.
Look,
Jason X.
Look, my man's was in space.
Yep, that don't exist. That's crazy. Damn.
Not no search results. Wow. I remember Jason X.
That must have been a fever dream.
Wow.
Because there's no way people sat down in the boardroom and said that Jason with a space age half torso and arm with space machete and space mask was cool. It was an okay thing. No one would have done that.
Look, if most of the movies in Hollywood can get made and everything, they had every right to make that. It's okay. I remember it. I'll need to watch it again one day.
You go ahead and you remember that fever dream you had. It's okay.
I would say my favorite horror movie is Midsommar, directed by Ari Aster. That man, boy, can he makes some disturbing things. If I may talk about Midsommar a little bit, because I don't think you know about Midsommar.
I have no idea about Midsommar.
So Midsommar.
You are very excited to talk about this movie, though. But
I really like Midsommar. So Midsommar, basically, it's the story of this woman named Dani. She has a terrible boyfriend named Christian. It opens up with like Dani like kind of worried about her sister and everything, because her sister is suffering from severe mental illness and everything. I think like extreme depression. It kind of opens up with like her parents like kind of sleeping and everything. She's like calling them, trying to make sure like her sister is okay. They're just asleep. That'll be a surprise too. That'll help us later. So she's like talking to her sister and everything, trying to make sure she's okay. She's like talking to her boyfriend, like, hey, I'm worried about my sister. He's like, babe, chill out. Like, I'm pretty sure she's fine. Like, you know how she is. And then like, she's like continuing to call her sister and everything. And then like, the fear happens. And like it kind of just like cuts to the next shot where like her sister has committed a kind of very awful double homicide. Damn. And double homicide suicide where like kills herself and their parents, or herself and like Danny and their parents, her and Danny's parents, with carbon monoxide poisoning.
That'll do it.
Yeah, they wrap like their parents' bodies up, but then they show her sister's body, which is like, you know, like these tubes coming from the car running in the like garage, like at her mouth and everything. It is very gaunt, very ghastly, very disturbing. And so Danny is like just riddled with grief at this point. Christian, who wants to really get out of the relationship but doesn't, invites Danny on a trip to Sweden that him and his friends have been invited to.
We all know bad things happen in Sweden.
You don't know the half of it.
Oh, dear.
So yeah, like invites her to the trip and everything from one of her Swedish friends so he can like complete his thesis or whatever. I forget what his thesis was really about. Doesn't necessarily matter at this point. Yeah, him and his like 3 other friends go to Sweden where like they're participating in this like midsummer festival from their like Swedish friend, where he's like, yeah, like, you know, we do this thing every like 90 years. It's gonna be great. Like, and the real kind of crux of like Midsummer is the fact that like, that I think like the thing they were trying to do with the movie is that like not all bad things happen in the dark. And that was kind of like the kind of premise of it, where like horrible things can happen to you in the daytime too. And so they went to this part of Sweden where it's like daylight for, I believe, like 18 hours of the day, where like, yeah, it's just like consistent like sunshine, and so it's like always bright out.
All right.
Yeah, they go to this like festival and there's like a lot of like strange things happening. They meet these people. There are strange disappearances and stuff. People just start dying and then like not asking questions about it. But it really starts with the rituals that happen in this Midsummer Festival. Where like I think to start off with, like some of the elderly who are like kind of like advancing in stages in their life because they have like these weird traditions, where the elderly kind of like jump from this really high cliff when they've reached the end of their like life. And they show that in very graphic detail. The Americans are freaked out, as they should be. It's very disturbing. And then like a lot of other weird stuff happens too. There's like some weird mating ritual that goes on with like a virgin and stuff, and like one of the guys is like having sex with like this virgin girl with like all of these like other older naked women around them chanting. Some dude pisses on like ancestral tree thing with like the ashes of the dead on it. They kill him, they skin him. This dude tries to appropriate like somebody's culture by taking pictures he's not supposed to be taking, and they hit him over the head with a mallet and he's dead. It is very messed up. And so the movie kind of ends with like Danny, who's like just in the midst of depression and everything, and like, you know, she's like the flower queen of like the festival because like she's found a new home, and kind of like has the decision to like let her boyfriend like live or die, and he dies burned in a barn with like the bodies of their friends, and he's sold in a bear costume, and he's like paralyzed at this point. It's very messed up. It's one of my favorites. It's a very like kind of psychological torture type thing. I enjoyed watching it, but I was also really messed up after it too. Yeah, watch Midsummer, people. It's great. And if you want to talk to me about it, find me on Twitter or other social media. This look on your face, like, you've seen horror stuff. Like, you should be that messed up about it.
I want to see this, but I know I won't be the same person after it.
No, you will not.
We will discuss this after the show.
Like, I had a bright future, and then I watched that movie. I'm messed up.
Not this ruining your future.
Look, I wanted to go to Sweden. After watching that, no, I'm good. You want me to travel and do what?
Look, there are things I've never thought to myself, yeah, you know what's a good idea? Going across the country to Europe. Going across the pond.
No, Hostel ruined that for me. Like, I don't think I ever wanted to travel after watching Hostel. I was like, nope, I'm good. You're not gonna kidnap me in the middle of the night and like, you know, sell me off to like, you know, people who like like to kill for fun, who pay money to kill people. That's great. Nope, not doing it.
Like Europe, that never sounded like a great idea. Maybe France, but like, that never sounded like a great idea. But is that your recommendation? Watch Midsommar?
Yeah, go watch Midsommar.
Okay, we've been at this for a while.
Yes,
and now I have to recover from this explanation of Midsommar because wow. Jesus Christ, anything you want to tell the people before we go, Matt?
Play Blasphemous, watch Castlevania, watch Midsommar.
I don't know about watch Midsommar, but the other two I endorse.
Watch Midsommar. Don't listen to Anthony. Watch Midsommar.
Yeah, I guess watch it because I'm going to, and then I'll probably tell you all to do it too. But especially play Blasphemous. That game is fantastic, and you all should experience it. So with that, we're going to wrap up this rather lengthy show that I hope you all enjoyed. Of course, you will catch me again with Michael once he eventually comes back from wherever the hell he's from on the next Rushdown Radio. Of course, check us out on our website and our YouTube. And when they come back, you'll also have Matt at Hollywolves.
Yes. You can also catch me and Michael and wherever the hell he is and Hollywolves as well. And get ready for more media, music, and all that other junk.
And with that, we will talk to you guys later.